Hi y'all, it's Charlene from the Crafty Art Shack, and today we've got a special project. We're going to try to replicate this and make it into a wonderful Christmas gift for someone. So let's get to the craft desk and get started. Let's go. All right, you guys, we're here at the craft desk, and the first thing you're going to need is an aluminum pan. Then you're going to need one of these scale faces that you printed off from the internet, and you're going to need to just trim out the face of it off of the picture there, and then you're going to just cut it out. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your tin pan and you're going to trim all the edges off of the pan. Now, I save all my aluminum pan pieces for all different kinds of projects, so I'm taking and carefully cutting this off at the base of the pan so that I can store that bottom part of the pan until I'm ready to use it. And then I'm going to use these side pieces for this part of the scale. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cardboard box, and I've got my face to my scales here, and what I'm going to do is just take a pencil or a pen and I'm going to trace around this. Now you're going to need 2 of these circles for your face when you make it, and I'll show you why in just a minute. I'm trying to find me a pencil or something to mark this with. Now, you don't have to be perfect. I did cut this box down a little bit more so it would be easier to work with, because sometimes when you try to draw a circle and you need to turn the paper around or the box around, you can't. So I cut my box down. Now, remember to save that other part of the box because you're going to need it. Now, at this point, I did flip my circle over that has the face of the scale on it, because if I accidentally mark this, I don't want it to be on the side that I'm going to use. So I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to just go around the edge of that, and I'm not good at making perfect circles, so I'm using this and I'm trying to hold it in place so I can get somewhat of where I want it to be, so I can cut the majority of this box away. Then you're going to want to cut out 2 circles like this after you trace them out, and then you're going to cut them out. Okay, next I'm going to take my glue stick and I'm going to take and put glue on the front of one of these pieces, and you want to use the brown side of the cardboard, not the side of the box that had the picture on it, because you don't want it to come through on your scale picture. So you want to use the brown side of it. And I'm going to just take and completely go all the way around, and you see I put something under it so that I could cover those, make sure I didn't get stuff on my mat. And then after I get through doing that, then I'm going to take and add the face of my scale to this piece. So after I put my piece of paper that had my scale on it on the cardboard, I make sure that I took my brayer and ran over it, and I'm checking to make sure I don't have any glue coming out around the edges and everything, and I think this just looks great. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take and trim down my piece of metal, and what I'm wanting is the rim of the pan. Now, that piece that I'm cutting off, I'm going to roll it up and save it for another project, but you're going to want to leave about 1/4 to 1/2 inch left on this piece, and you're just going to go all the way around the edges of it, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. Next thing you're going to do is you need to make sure that you have enough space, and you're going to cut little slats. This is why you needed to leave it 1/4 to 1/2 inch on that with that rim. Now, when I say the rim, I'm talking about that rolled part of the pan at the top. And you're going to take and trim all of these little pieces. You're going to cut slits in it all the way up to that rim. And the reason why you're doing this is so that when you get to putting this on the face of your little scale that it bends. And so that's what I'm making sure that I've cut them small enough. You need to cut them enough so that when you put it on your face of your scale, see how it starts curving around there for you? This is going to make it look like it really is a scale and that really has the stuff on it. So now that we've got our little piece, I've curved it around my face of my scale and made sure that it's going to fit all the way around to the edge. And then any extra, I trimmed it off. Now you're going to take and pull that scale back off of there, and you're going to glue around the metal piece. Now you're going to want to work quickly because this is metal. It's tin foil pan, and because of it being tin foil, it's going to dry really quick because of the metal causes it to dry up faster. So I'm going to stick this on there, and I'm going to start curving it around and making sure it's fitting all the way around. Now you notice I didn't go all the way around with my hot glue yet because you're going to want to make sure you get this stuck down before that cools off. And then you're just going to continue all the way around. And this is what your piece should look like once you get it all the way around. And you're going to want to kind of work it until you get it to where there's no little points sticking out. Then the next thing you're going to do is flip it over. Now when you flip it over, you're going to want to put hot glue down, and you're going to want to work rather quickly. You're going to take your other piece of cardboard and turn the side of the box that has the picture on it of that circle you cut out, and you're going to face it down and leave the cardboard side up, just like I'm doing here. That way you don't have anything that's going to accidentally shine through when you go to finish this up. Now this is what you should have when you're finished. So let's move on to the next step. Okay, in this next step, I wanted to make sure that I didn't have this bright shiny silver showing, but I didn't want, excuse me, but I didn't want to have it solid black either. So I just took my Sharpie marker, my fine tip Sharpie marker, turned it on its side and rubbed it around the edge of this to mark it up. Now you guys, this is what you should have left once you're finished marking everything, and that looks just like the front of a scale. Now the next thing that I did was I put a piece of plastic over the top of that, and I used a self-adhesive piece of clear vinyl over the top of that. You can use contact paper that you can get from the Dollar Tree, and I did that so that when this sits in a kitchen it can be wiped down. The next thing that I did is I got my multi-surface black paint out, and I'm going to take and paint the back of this all black with that multi-surface paint. And I'm painting, notice how I'm painting. I'm painting from the outside in. That way I don't get a bunch of paint buildup on the rim of that face of my scale. So that's what I'm doing now, is just painting it all black. Okay, you guys, there was still too much silver on here, so I decided that I was going to paint it with some more black. Now, you guys, if you don't want to use black, you don't have to. You can use any color you choose. If you want to make your scale white, use white. But the base of mine was going to be black because that was what was going to look best for the project that I was doing. And so that's why I'm using black. But white would look, or a cream color would look really great. Okay, so for the bottom of this plate, the top plate of it, the top of this plate is red. This is what's going to be my plate that's going on the scale. And you can see over there in the computer, I'm kind of looking at what's going on. And so I take some of my this plate was already black, so I just took some of my cream colored chalk paint and some multi-purpose brown paint, and I put it on that little triangle type spatula thing, and I'm just going along making it look like it's chipped and looks like it's authentic, because I want it to kind of look old. And so I'm doing the reverse, where somebody would paint the plate white and then do black. Mine was black, so I'm doing white. And I think this is just turning out too cute. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm trying to build my base that my face is going to go on, and the top which my plate is going to go on. Now that lead came off of that jar that I glued to the back of the face of the scale. So the next thing I'm doing is I'm going to take some E600 glue, and I'm going to take my candlestick that came from the Dollar Tree. Now this jar came from the Dollar Tree as well, and I'm going to go around a couple of times around that and make sure I get plenty of glue on it. Then I'm going to flip it over and put it on the top. Now I'm not worried about taking that sticker off of the candlestick, but the one that's on the jar, I do want to make sure that I take it off because I don't want it to show. And then the next thing I'm going to do is flip it over to where I have the candlestick at the top, because the jar is wider than the candlestick, so I want to use it at the bottom. And again, that jar came from the Dollar Tree, and that lid that's on the back that I glued to the back of my scale face, it came off of that jar. So I'm going to paint my jar with the multi-purpose paint. Now, don't use acrylic, use the multi-purpose paint because it stays adhered to the jar much better. Now I am going to paint the jar, and I'm going to repaint the candlestick at the top because I want to make sure that I have the same black going all the way through on my project. Now remember, if you painted yours scale face white and you wanted to do the white or the cream on this, this is where you do the white or the cream color. You do it to match your project for who you're giving it to, or if you're keeping it for yourself. Now I'm going to flip my jar back over, and I am taking hot glue, and this is the reason why I put the lid on there, because that lead is going to give it real good contact. Now I put a combination of hot glue and E6000 to glue my face on. Now my scale is sitting upside down right now at this point, and I did that because it was easier to get to the gluing this from right here. You'll see the points where I glued it on, and I'm trying to show you those now, right there and right at the other piece. You want to make sure it's on the base of your jar and right there at the tip of your candlestick is where you're going to glue that. And I put hot glue to hold it for right this moment, and then I put E6000 for longevity, to make it last for a long time. Now again, I did cover that face of that with a piece of clear contact paper. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do is glue your top on, which is your plate that you painted, and you're going to take and let that sit there overnight and let all of these pieces get good and dry before you even try to pick this up. And you guys, this project just turned out too cute. All right, y'all, we're back from the craft desk, and look at this beautiful tier tray scale replica that we made today. You guys, this turned out really cute, and it would make a great gift for anyone to sit in their kitchen and use as a tier tray. You guys, we hope that you like and subscribe to our channel. It's free, and that way you don't miss out on any of our episodes and the things that we'll be making. You guys, thank you to all of our subscribers. We appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for helping us get to where we are today. You guys, that'll do it for this episode of the Crafty Art Shack, and we want to wish you a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you in the next episode. See you later. Bye.
wrong one. From the Dollar Tree. I mean, Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree. I printed it off on my printer. Yep. I accidentally hit the button. Yeah. Gotta pause that. Hi, y'all. Oh, wrong one. Thank you, guys. And y'all have a Merry Christmas. And we'll see you later. Bye.